On our website, Bills. That's Bills. Enter it now.
I don't know. How would you describe the program?
Just a bunch of guys hanging out in a room.
Dudes.
Let's talk about dude stuff.
I like dude stuff.
You're listening to The Rob Dibble Show.
One of our favorite people to talk some New York sports is Al Gatulo, and Al joins us now from New York City. And 970 The Answer in the mornings with Joe Piscopo, and he also does Craft Beer Cast on the weekends at 11 p.m. First of all, let's start with you're at the movies this afternoon. What did you go see?
So, good afternoon, guys. My son and I went to see the Thunderbolts, the new Marvel movie that's out, and we both enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Stick around though for the end. There's a big after credit movie, 2 of them. So stick around until the very end of the credits. You'll miss it. You'll miss it if you don't stick around.
All right. That's good to know. All right, so you stick around for the end of the credits. Last night in the Pistons-Knicks, you saw a lot of some Jalen Brunson doing some great stuff. I mean, where do you put that performance by Brunson since his time here in New York?
I mean, you have to put that up there with some of the great Knicks of all time. One that just pops into my head is John Starks. I mean, what he did in the playoffs in '94 to propel the Knicks to the finals was unbelievable. And Brunson is doing that right now. I mean, he has just put this team on his back. A team that really should have knocked this team out, the Pistons out, back in Game 5, and they've had their ups and downs, but Brunson is willing them to victory, which is phenomenal.
Is he a flopper?
Brunson, no. LeBron James, yes. Brunson, no. I don't think so.
Okay, they were giving him some crap in Detroit.
They were chanting. They're Pistons fans. They're flopper.
All right, let's move on to this.
This is a Pistons team with Bill Laimbeer and the rest of those clowns. Come on. I mean, you know.
Clowns, come on. All right, moving on to the Celtics, sir. What kind of chance do you give them against this team? Last time they played, it was a really good game, and 119-117 in overtime. But the Knicks this season have not been able to really handle the Celtics, the Cavs, or anyone else that is a real contender in this league. Do you think they have what it takes to win a 7-game series against Boston?
I think if they played the way they played here against the Pistons, no. I think they have to come out and be dominant. You've got to take Monday night's game. I think it's imperative that you don't go down 0-1, trying to play catch up, tie the series, and go back to New York. You need to have a commanding game on Monday night. Take the momentum from last night and propel yourself into that game 1 there. You got a couple of days to rest, but tomorrow get back out on the practice court, start working on some stuff, and Monday they need to come out with a little swagger and understand that, we all need to work together to get it done. Let's face it, you have Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns sort of disappeared in this series, which is not good. Other guys sort of picked it up. The bench has been very flat. So, no, if they play the way they've played so far, I think the Celtics take them in 5 easily.
Wow. So
I think if the Knicks show some moxie coming out in Game 1, and even if they get the split and go back to the Garden, I think they can do things where they can propel themselves into the into the finals. But if they don't, if they lose Game 1 by a big margin, I don't care what they do in Game 2. The series is over in 5. The Celtics win it.
Does Karl Anthony Towns have to play his best basketball for them to move past the Celtics?
100%. But they can't put all of their eggs in Brunson's basket, right? I mean, Brunson is a great player, but he's not a Stephon Curry. He's not other guys in the league that are elite that can take over a game consistently over and over and over again. Brunson's going to be able to do that every once in a while, but he's not going to do it every single game. He's not MJ, he's not Scottie Pippen, he's not any of those people. So he needs everybody on his team to get going, and I think Tom Thibodeau is trying to push the right buttons, but, I really felt that they were going to take them out in Game 5. I really did. And the fact that they came out so flat at home when the crowd was so pumped up for them, that doesn't bode well for them if they're going to continue to do this sort of up and down in the playoffs, especially because the Celtics did have their number in the regular season and historically have had their number.
Talking to Al Gatulo, 970 The Answer out of New York, the Craft Beer Cast. Check that out on the weekends. He is our New York sports guru. What did you think of the NFL draft, or specifically the Giants and the Jets? How do you think they did?
I think, the Jets had to do with what they had. I'm happy they got themselves alignment in the first round. There really wasn't a lot of room for them to maneuver. The Giants, though, I thought did a tremendous job getting the best player available at 3 when, look, they threw everything in to Tennessee and said, we'll give you whatever you want to get the first pick. And they said, no, we want Cam Ward. And Giant fans were kind of complaining about that. And I'm like, well, you can't complain when your team gave it its best shot and the other team didn't want to dance. So what do you do there? You wait for the best available player. Clearly it wasn't Shedeur Sanders. And so you go and get the best guy in Abdul Carter. Can you imagine if that line is healthy consistently? This defense could wreak havoc on teams.
Yeah.
This coming season. And for those that think that, the general manager, Shane and Dable should have done everything they could to get Cam Ward, look, they not only got two good players because they drafted back, they traded up to get back into the first round, but they're setting the team up for the future, whoever that is. I mean, listen, let's face it, if the Giants don't go at least 2 rounds into the playoffs next year, these two guys are out. Because if John Mara keeps them around, then he's lied to his fan base. He should have extended these guys for 2 years and not 1 to sort of put to rest. Hey, look, these are my guys. They're going to do what they need to do to right the ship, and everybody has to be patient. By basically saying, I'm only giving you 1 year, they've got to go very deep into the playoffs. And, 4 wins and 6 wins is not going to cut it.
New York Jets, 5 wins last year. How many do they need to win this year for people to keep their jobs?
I think for the Jets, you got a new regime in. I've never been the biggest Woody Johnson fan as an owner, but I think they did the right thing by getting the right coach to coach this team. And the fact that they made Aaron Rodgers fly in only to tell him, you're not in our plan, we're moving on, is the right move. It sets the right tone for the Jets. We're not the same old Jets. We're not screwing around. This is what we're going to do. Can they be better next year? Absolutely. They have the right pieces in place in many of the key areas, except for maybe quarterback. But I think they can fix that. And I think with the rest of the personnel around that team, I think the Jets could be better than people think. The problem is you're playing in a division where the Bills are the cream of the crop. The Patriots are much more improved, especially in this draft. And then, you've got a Dolphins team that you're really not sure where they're going to go. So how many wins do they need to move forward? They've got it. I would think they would need at least 9 wins in order to be at least in the playoff picture.
What have your sources told you about the usage of Jackson Dart at quarterback for the New York Giants and like his plan for the next 3 years? And how are they going to utilize the skills of Cam Scatabo that they drafted in the 4th round at running back?
Well, we'll take the running back first. So I love Scatabo. I love his attitude. I love his energy. I love the fact that he's just going to really inject something into this running game, which Tracy was doing a great job last year. These two as a tandem are going to be phenomenal. If the line holds up. For the Giants, it's always a question mark if they have the right people on the offensive line. The line holds up, these two guys will create havoc. As for Dart, he's sitting on the bench for a little bit. I think this is going to be Russell Wilson's team, and if he starts to falter, then I think he's going to get forced into play, which is not what the Giants want here. I think they want this kid to sit for a bit, whether it's the whole season or most of the season, unless they're out of it in December. I think they want to, ride and die sort of with Russell Wilson here. But this almost reminds me of that similar situation when Eli got drafted. They bring in Kurt Warner. Warner is 3-2, but those last 2 games, you could see Kurt Warner wasn't doing so well, and they threw Eli in the mix, and then they promptly started losing. I don't want to see that happening here. I want to see this kid just sit and absorb and learn. But I think if he does really well in training camp, lights out and blows everybody away, I think David will be forced to start him.
Talking to Al Gatulo from 970 The Answer, our New York sports guru. All right, the Yankees are 18-13, lead the AL East, but the Mets had one of the best records in baseball. They're right there with the Dodgers, 21-11. Let me ask you, I mean, Soto did a great job in the clubhouse last year. They doesn't get credit for with the Yankees. I feel he's probably doing the same thing with the Mets. How are the people in New York reacting to the Mets and maybe Soto? I don't even want to say it's a slow start. I think it takes time to get acclimated back to a different team and get into your kind of all the little things that you do. But 21-11, not a bad start through 32 games.
No, I think if you told me that was going to be their record at the start of the season, I would have said you're out of your mind. I wouldn't have expected it at all, especially with the pitching injuries, all the other things that happened before the season started. Everybody expected that Lindor was going to have a slow start. He has not. He's come out of the box hot. Alonso has certainly benefited from the fact that Soto has not been hitting and he's just crushing the ball. A lot of those elements are falling into place, which is great, and that's what you want to see. The problem with the Mets now, and I think this is where I think Mets fans sort of have that glass half empty sort of feeling. You don't win championships in April. Great that we had such a great record. We just lost our first series, after 5-6 weeks or whatever it is. But let's stay the course here. We're only in May. There's a lot that can happen. Hopefully we get Minaya back at some point. Senga continues to pitch the way he's pitching. The pieces continue to perform. And now all of a sudden, Soto 2 home runs yesterday. Maybe he's starting to wake up a little bit and get into that groove, like you said. If those things start to happen, yeah, then maybe by July they're running away with it. But right now, I want to just kind of, keep that foot on the gas. Keep winning series, 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4, and you put things together, and you're going to be in good shape. Because look, the Phillies are going to still be there. Atlanta's going to wake up at some point. You've got to win this division, and you've got to dominate.
I've always been a Yankees hater in my whole entire existence, but I can't deny how much I love Aaron Judge. And just watching this guy play baseball, I feel like some of these pitchers are so stupid for not intentionally walking the guy, especially his first at bat. He's hitting 427. Right. He's already got 10 home runs. I know he's not on top of the pile there, but he is just playing lights out baseball. He's one of the best baseball players on the planet. But I do think in your neck of the woods, like, they're not going to give him any kind of credit until he wins another World Series, because the drop in Game 5 is, I just feel like that's in his head as he goes into the batter's box, because he's probably getting all you New Yorkers just chirping at him for the Game 5 stuff. Like, just where is Aaron Judge at in the world of fandom for the Yankees? Because I know Babe Ruth and, Joe D, everybody's the end-all, be-all as far as the history goes. But this guy is just so lights out. He's been carrying this franchise for 10 years, and I feel like nobody even gives him credit in New York.
No, they do. They do give him credit, but again, I think they want to see him win a World Series by putting the team on his back and taking care of business. Look, there's a reason why Reggie Jackson is such a beloved Yankee, whether you loved him or you hated him when he came to the team. What he did in those couple of years that he was with the Yankees cemented him forever in their history, right? Dave Winfield, on the other hand, while he gets credit now, back then, they always were like, well, yeah, he was great in May, but when the playoffs came, he fell apart. So Judge has the advantage of the fact that, yes, he's done stuff in September and October to get them there, but clearly he needs to do more. And with no Giancarlo Stanton and no real other slugger to really, back him up, what he's doing now is even more impressive because he's doing it all on his own, and they love him for that. But, yeah, they absolutely want to see him win a championship on his own. And I agree. And I think he's an awesome player. He's worth every single penny that they've paid him. Even though he's in his 30s, this is a guy that, he's shown no drop-off in his power, in his ability to play, all of it. And you're right. Pitchers are stupid. They should be walking this guy consistently and never giving him a chance to hit.
Jazz Chisholm goes on the IL for 10 days, maybe to get a new bat, says an oblique thing. But, how did the New York fandom react to the whole stupid torpedo bat thing the first 2 weeks?
But Yankee fans didn't really have a problem with it, and neither did I. And I'm obviously not a Yankee fan, but I didn't have a problem with it. They were playing with it last year. Kudos to the Yankees for taking advantage of the fact that, hey, it doesn't matter what the bat looks like as long as it's the size and dimensions of what Major League Baseball wants and it's the right weight. If they're hitting the ball with it and it's working for them, that's great. You're starting to see other teams adopt it. I think a lot of other teams, which is kind of funny because now the game is all about computers and metrics and what the computer spits out of what this guy should pitch. And dinosaurs like Buck Showalter don't have jobs because, he thinks with his gut and not with a computer, and yet they hired a guy who basically used the computer to figure out if we put more meat of the bat a little bit lower from the top, guys can hit more. It's fantastic. I love it. And Yankee fans love it.
You would be so proud of me a couple of weeks ago. I was thinking of you, and I wanted to take a picture of myself and send it to you. I was on a 12-day no-drinking binge. Is that a binge, Kurt? I mean, I guess so.
Anti-binge.
Kurt's going to be sad about this story, but I was at a bar where there was a lot of people drinking, and I ordered an Athletic IPA, which is a non-alcoholic beer. First time in my life, sir, and guess what? It tasted pretty damn good, and I liked it, and I ordered another one. And I was thinking of you the whole time.
There you go. Listen, there's good non-alcoholic beers out there, and you know what? Sometimes for a change of pace, especially the weather's getting warmer, you're having a couple. Maybe you want to take a break, and maybe you don't want to drink water, but you want to have something else and still have the taste of beer. There's plenty of really good non-alcoholic beers out there, and a lot of the breweries are seeing that space is bringing in money. So you're going to start seeing a lot more breweries making them.
Give us something for the summer, man. Give our listeners some maybe a new brewery or something local that you're really into right now.
Well, right now, one of the great local breweries here in my area, Wet Ticket Brewing. They're in Rahway, New Jersey, just one town over from me. They do a watermelon wheat every year. Other breweries have done this. You could probably get it. I think Two Roads in Connecticut does a similar type of beer. It's a watermelon wheat beer. They use fresh watermelon. They cut up hundreds of watermelons to make this beer. It's got a little bit of sweetness to it. It is perfect on a day like this where it's 80 degrees and you want to sit outside and relax and then have one. And it's making me thirsty right now. I might just go and have one.
Love it.
When I get home.
Love it.
It's Friday, baby. Get ready for Kentucky Derby weekend. Al Gatulo, way to go, man. Thank you so much for coming on today on short notice. We appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, Al.
Anytime, boys. Have a great weekend.
You too. Al Gatulo, 970 The Answer. Check out his Craft Beer Cast Sundays at 11 p.m. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back, and we'll do Dibbles and Bits.
Well, the Friday Jam is